You just saved my life, or did I just save yours?
Whoa, buddy. Brethren, we just wrapped up episode 2 of Hiking in the Snake Pit. We initially were trying to hit the Verdeline Canyon, but we did some sort of fire road here in Topanga. I would say we probably did 4 or 5 miles on the trail. There was some technical stuff on the route we took, which you'll see at the beginning. But it was a dope hike because we got into the Palisades fire. We saw a lot of the aftermath of the fire. You know, before the fire, I was hitting these canyons every weekend with my boys. And now I really haven't been up here in, I don't know, fucking 4 or 5 months. So that was really cool. Will's a great guy. We saw a fucking rattlesnake at the end. And it was a very introspective talk. We sound like 2 LA boys for sure. Like 2 dudes figuring life out in LA and trying to be successful and make money and build a business and become someone here. And there was some existential talk in there too, but it's Rent with Thread. That's Will's company. Good guy, bro. And I hope you guys enjoy. Let me know what you think. Peace.
Golden Deer Productions. Golden Deer. Oh, wait, was that not it? Hey, enter. You forgot to enter.
All right, I'm here with Willie Bands.
Yo.
Back here on Hiking in the Snake Pit. And so normally when I start these episodes, I'll do like a clip beforehand where I'll preface like who I'm interviewing. And I had already said on the thing, I was like, this guy is a master salesman. And so I'll give a little...
Set me up for failure.
No, I'll give a little backstory to how Will and I met. So, we have this staple place called Shay J in Santa Monica. And I think we were throwing like an after party for one of the film festivals.
Yeah, that's right.
And
that's
there's...
right.
And...
That absolute institution.
Yeah,
Bar.
I know. What an expensive bar.
It's an expensive bar. It's a classy joint.
It's actually a great first date spot.
It's a great first date.
Anyway, so I was throwing an event after this film festival, and I think we had just met. Will was with his like Indian buddy, and he was like, bro, like, how do you bring people together? I was like, dude, I throw events out here, so it's like kind of what we do.
Right.
And then Will had come to one of our events in late 23, and at the time, I mean, how long was Thread around at that time?
Late 23, it had been 6 months probably, not even, barely.
Yeah, so you just started.
Yeah, I just started. I launched in June of 2023.
Got it. So he came and he did an activation where essentially like,
Right.
essentially like he was marketing his business. And I remember in the middle of the fucking event, now normally in our events, I'm one of the centers of attention because I know everybody. But I was like, yo, why is no one talking to me? I was like, because like, where's everyone's admiration for me? Like, we're throwing a huge party. And I look over and there's hundreds of people around this guy's table. And he's smiling, taking pictures. I was like, this dude is an absolute politician. So since then, and everyone meet Will. Since then, Will has kept Thread going. And I still admire his tenacity as a salesperson. So welcome on the show.
Thanks a lot, man.
So tell everyone a little bit how first like you made the shift out of, I mean, you were corporate for a minute and then you kind of started Thread on the side.
Yeah. It's you know, some people have the resources to just jump into business and start, and like they can live off of their savings or whatever. And I just didn't really want to do that. I didn't really have that as an option. So a lot of my stuff is in investments. So I wanted to start a business. I always have. I've failed so many times trying to start a business.
What was your first one?
So early days, MySpace was the thing. I don't know if your viewers probably don't know what MySpace is. Maybe some of them do. Do you even know what it is?
That's like Topanga,
Of course, yeah.
That was the first. Dane got
First
big on.
social media platform. Right?
Exactly.
So you can customize web pages on MySpace. So I worked with a couple guys doing MySpace page designs, and then Facebook came around, and it blew MySpace out of the water, and there goes that business. And then
So wait, what does that mean? You were like, for businesses,
this is a long time ago. This is my first.
I get it, but
Business.
my point is though, like, you'd hit up businesses and said, let me make MySpace pages
Yeah,
for
I
you.
was banned record labels,
Oh, cool.
you name it.
This was in DC.
Yeah, along the East Coast.
Okay.
So,
And how did it fail? Just because?
just because MySpace went away.
But you were a fucking kid.
Yeah, I was a kid. Yeah, it wasn't anything crazy. But it was my first interaction with like a real business, working with customers, doing design work, the right product. But yeah.
I know. From what it said, it's like you follow this like a 1.3 up, and there's like an offshoot trail to the cave.
Yeah, nice.
This is fucking steep though, Willie Bands.
It's puffing and puffing.
Great day for a hike though, dude. So continue. So you crash out on that business, but you're like 18, 19, right?
Yeah, then I go to college, and I figure out life a little bit.
Where was this?
Jump in Washington, D.C.
I know, what school?
Oh, American University.
Cool. Were you commuting or on campus?
I was near campus. Yeah, I was close.
Cool.
Went to college and then graduated, and just basically the only industry in D.C. is government.
Yeah.
As you can imagine, government politics. So I went into government and I went into technology. And I was doing a bunch of technology stuff for the government.
Cool.
For about a decade. And all the while I was just trying to start another business, start something up. And
What do you think, left or right?
right. Well, the left is easier.
Have you done the cave before? If we were to use our orienteering brains.
Just go straight off.
It said follow the fire road.
Oh, this will probably tell us here.
Doesn't say the cave though. Let's try down. If we don't find it, we can go up.
Yeah, that works.
All right.
So, yeah, anyways, I was trying to do other things. I'm not like you though. You have a lot of different ideas. You throw a bunch of ideas into a pile and do them all. I had like a couple ideas throughout the years, but I never really was focused on the customer first, which is the most important thing. And I wasn't focused on necessarily solving a real problem. And I think the biggest thing was learning what the real pain points are from actual people and from real customers. And so anyway, I get into, I'm doing consulting. I move out west from Washington, D.C. and I'm in LA now. And I start to see
when is
guys.
this?
This is 2021.
Okay. And so what was the impetus to come out here?
Well, I just needed a change of pace.
You were getting bored?
Well, I went through a pretty bad breakup, and
You're like
it was
30, 31.
coming up on winter. Yeah, 30, 32, 31, 32. Coming up on winter in DC, and yeah, I just didn't want to do it again. I just kind of felt like I had already done the corporate life in government. I had already lived in a great city for my whole life, basically. The majority of
Your
my
family
life.
was back there.
Yeah. So I figured I want to go out west and kind of strike it out on my own. And I've always had like an entrepreneurial spirit. I've always had like a spirit of adventure. So this is all kind of, intertwined. Kind of came together, and I moved out in September of 2021 and
Now,
didn't really have it all figured out. But
Were you the only one of your friends at the time who had wanted to start their own thing?
yeah,
Yep.
yeah, I don't have a lot of friends that are entrepreneurs. I think it's hard to find good entrepreneurs. I think that's a tough thing.
Surprisingly, in LA also.
Yeah, big time. I mean, there's a lot of people that talk like they're entrepreneurs and that they have something going on, but most of the time it's bogus. It's not necessarily a real business. And I think the real entrepreneurs, or these people that are very successful in entrepreneurship, they're not really out talking to people like all the time. I mean, they're not really out there like networking, meeting new people and things like that. They're really just running their business, trying to make sure that it survives and like stays afloat.
Has that been a problem for you? Because this is me from an outsider's perspective, but dude, you're such a naturally social person.
Yeah.
Are those moments of entrepreneurship hard for you when you gotta kind of lock in?
Yeah, entrepreneurship is isolating, and you really do have to settle into your business and really focus in and with intensity, focus in on what your goals are and what your objectives are, or else you're losing. I mean, anybody else could do 10 times more work than you, and at the end of the day, the effort is really what matters. I mean, yeah, you can have all the brains and the creativity in the world, but unless you're actually putting in that hyper focus and that intensity into the direction that you need to go in, you're not going to get anywhere, basically.
Well, is your reasoning for picking an entrepreneurial path because you want to get rich? Is it because you want to carve the life you want? Is it because you've always had the itch to be creative? And none of the answers are bad, by the way.
No, of course. I mean, obviously, at the end of the day, I mean, that's the hope, right? You get that bag, you get rich. You know, you have stability and financial security for the rest of your life and even potentially your kids' lives. But I think that
You didn't feel like you could have achieved that with your job?
I don't think any career would give you that kind of financial freedom. I think that, and a very dear friend of mine put it to me this way one time. When you go to work at a job, your salary is capped. You get paid X amount of dollars that whatever the company pays you for, especially even if you are like the CEO or up in the C-suite. But if you have your own business and you're making whatever money you're making, you could be paying yourself whatever amount that you want, essentially, in order to keep the business. I mean, the business can keep growing and keep going, but you can pay yourself whatever you want. You're not locked into just a salary, a small salary. So I like the idea of, if I'm making...
Having no cap.
There's no cap.
There's no cap.
You're making $100 million a year. You can pay yourself $10 million to $50 million to, whatever $1 million.
Dude, no cap. There's no cap.
There's no cap. It doesn't
That's
matter.
no cap.
Yeah,
though.
no cap. So that's it. Yeah, no cap.
But dude, you also strike me as which is something I feel like I've learned about you in the past few months, is like you're a really creative guy. Like you fucking...
I appreciate that, man.
Well, were you writing a book of poetry or some shit?
I write, I have like short stories and I have music. I write a bunch of music all the time.
Nice.
I see a lot of overlaps between writing music and building a business. It's all about finding the next best thing or the next best step forward, I guess, if that makes sense. Like, you have to kind of think creatively about what you're building. Essentially, if you're building a song, if you're building a business, but the way that you bring an idea into the world, right, is the same. You have an idea, you have a thought in your mind, and you have to transpose that into reality. What does that look like, right? And people that are really, really good at bringing their perfect picture, that's why visualizing is so important, like thinking about what your future looks like or whatever your building looks like, because people that are highly skilled at bringing this concept to life in the way that they imagine it to be in its best form are extremely successful, typically, most of the time. So
you take time to visualize.
I think it's just important to be able to
It is, but it's
flex
fucking
that
hard,
muscle
bro.
or work that muscle.
It's hard.
That allows you to take an idea, right, for something and like materialize it in the real world in whatever way that looks like with your hands, or whatever.
So that's like a constant practice for you?
Writing music and in business, absolutely. So if you think about like a melody, for example, right? If you have a melody,
Maybe you could just give the viewers one.
Yeah, let's see.
I could give you one. You kind of tweak it.
Yeah, go ahead. What do you think?
You want with lyrics or no?
If you want to do lyrics, that's fine.
Okay.
She's got a smile that it seems to me reminds me of childhood memories.
Just like that.
Fantastic. Yeah. So
how do we tweak that?
So you don't even have to tweak it.
It's perfect. You're right.
Yeah, it's a perfect melody. But someone came up with that, right?
Axl Rose.
Axl Rose, exactly.
You got it.
So Axl Rose, well, whoever wrote it, yeah, probably Axl Rose. Axl Rose came up with this melody.
He was drinking a lot back in those days.
There you go. That's a good way to do it, usually.
Okay. So you're hammered every day on the
I'm
job.
wasted. Yeah, exactly.
Got it.
No, so you have this melody, and then you have to form an entire song around just this concept, right?
Okay.
It doesn't just come to you. I mean, sometimes it comes to you like complete, and you can hear it in your head, and you can put it out there in the world the way that you hear it in your head. But you have to. I mean, it takes real skill to be able to do something like that. I think that's, I guess, what I'm trying to get at. I guess it's hard to explain without, if you don't have musical ability, I guess, in some way. Or, I don't know. Have you ever just thought of a melody?
Well, dude, every time I've obsessed over a visual in my life, it's actually manifested.
Right.
But it takes fucking practice. Like, dude,
Big time.
So before we met, I made a movie in Boston. I used to, every day, I'd go in, my dad's office had this old ass sauna. I'd sit in the sauna and I would just think of what the theater looked like when the movie was done and premiering it. And then doing the castle out here for the movie, I would just think of like, who was at the castle? What were they wearing? It works.
Big time.
Dude, I saw it. It happened twice in my life. But I also think it can skew on the negative too.
It can definitely skew on the negative for sure.
So right now,
for you?
I think I'm naturally genetically a negative thinker, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But
aren't we all?
Are there certain things right now that you're visualizing that you're like, that's just got to happen in my life, like now?
Man, yeah, there are things that I'm visualizing right now. I think the key is to keep it as scope as possible.
What do you mean?
So you want to keep it as small as possible. Like you want a grand vision, but in order to get to that grand vision, you have to take baby steps. And I'm learning that now. Honestly, it's been hard to wrap my head around being patient and.
Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
1 second. Look at all the look at the fire.
Crazy.
See that?
Yeah, you should get some shots of this too. You can.
Yeah, it would turn into.
It could be cinematic in some way.
We're almost pretty grim podcast.
That's okay. It's okay.
All of this was destroyed by the fires.
Yeah. Don't move.
Damn,
California.
though. Look, it got fucking scorched, bro. Look at this, dude. Whoa.
It's good to see that the green's coming back. But look at all this, man.
Maybe the cave's this way? What do you think? Do you have the All Trails app?
I might.
Buddy.
This is nuts. No, it's crazy. One of my competitors.
Yeah, you do white collar crimes. I do blue collar crimes.
You just steal cars. One of my, well, not necessarily a competitor, but a company in the space. I learned recently they went out of business because the founder was allegedly had told, and maybe not even allegedly, maybe this is like actually found this happened, but they told investors that they had made a significant amount of millions of dollars more than they actually did. And so they were raising so much money based on the falsehoods that were being propagated that they completely crashed and burned. Like there was no business for them out there to match the kind of growth that they were expecting, and they crashed and burned. And so I think it's extremely important to operate a business with integrity and operate a business that you're honest about. And even if you're making modest amounts of money, you have to be truthful with people that are in your circle, because not only when you're truthful is it like accurate and honest and it makes you feel good, but it also makes people around you want to help you and give you some kind of support in some ways.
I agree.
You build trust.
But have you ever made like a sickening bag super fast? You ever made money hand over fist?
Yeah.
It's a very, very disorienting feeling. It's sick. But dude, you're like, damn, this is fucking addicting.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think when we first climbed in June, we really launched the full United States. We started making a lot of money very quickly. And by the end of the first year in operation, or at the end of the first 6 months in operation, we were really cranking out money, and it wasn't enough. And I still don't think what we're making now is enough. And I think that we could be making so much more and should be making so much more, but these things take a lot of time, and at some point you have to be just really cautious about how you go about getting money, raising money, talking to people, and building your business in a sustainable way. At the end of the day, if the company's profitable, you're doing something good. You're doing something right. So that's what I care about building. I care about building a sustainable, profitable company in a space that champions the idea that our world doesn't have to be linear. Like our world can be circular. Commerce can be circular.
All right, well,
Let's sign off.
yeah, signing off.
Later, people.
Good talk.
Appreciate you.
This was, we didn't end up doing the cave, but this was like some sort of Topanga loop. I would say, I didn't Strava it, but I'd say we've probably done at least a 4 or 5 mile hike. It was a cool fucking loop. You come on the other side of the hill. What it said, like, I'll just put it in the description. That's the one I'd like the differentiator of the show is to include some of the stats about the hike, because I am a big outdoorsy guy.
Yeah, we should have done a Strava on it.
Yeah, I should have Strava it. Whatever, we'll find it online. I'd say it's a pretty moderate hike, but that Palisade shit, getting into all the fires and stuff was pretty cool. So we're signing off, hiking in the Snake Pit. See ya.
Later, guys.
Golden Deer Productions. Golden Deer. Oh, wait, was that not it? Hey, enter. Just you forgot to enter.